Hi, guys. It's Granny here. Well, as I promised, we are getting on tonight and we are going to be talking about what does it mean to stand silent. Okay. Something I never saw. I, I never saw happen. But I found out that BTK killer actually, in his arraignment, stood silent. Okay. So we're actually going to go to the lawyer and kind of watch the arraignment with him you know, and he explains it really well. I really like to watch him because I am a firm believer, and I know I'm new to this YouTubing thing, um, but I am a firm believer in sticking to the facts. I really have a problem with people going off speculating and I understand that investigations and speculations are part of the process, but sometimes I think that people take it too far and they're sensationalizing things, and that's not right. So we need to be really, really careful. I mean, um, there was a YouTuber who stated something about um, all people wanted were ratings and they're talking about Koberger when they have nothing to say and that kind of thing. And and I don't know, that's probably true. But that YouTuber himself said he was going to stop talking about it until there was something to say. But in the past week, he's been on 3 or 4 times a day talking about Brian Koberger and speculating. So you know, uh, when there's nothing to say, there's nothing to say. Okay. There's nothing to say. You know, what I do during those times, and I've discovered that, there was a gag order. Nothing was coming out that was fact. Okay. Nothing was coming out that was fact. So I went on to other there were mass shootings to look at, there were other trials to look at, that, you go to something else until you can come back to this, right? Okay. So we're gonna get on to watch that video together in just a minute here. And I just want to remind you to likes, to subscribe. I want to thank all the new subscribers that came on today. I really appreciate you guys. Like, share, hit that button, subscribe. When we get up to 100, I'm going to. I haven't just gonna get. I can give 3 Amazon cards, or I can give, if you took a look at it, my new water bottle that I got. So that is in the community page. I could probably reach across and get it right now, but maybe I'll do that while we're watching the video. That way I can show it to you guys. Okay. So let's share my screen and do that video. And I have got it already pulled up. Right about to the part where they start talking, the judge starts asking Brian some questions, and then his then he stands silent. Okay. Here we go.
Mr. Koberger, do you understand the charge in count 1? Yes. Do you understand the maximum penalty? Yes. Do you understand the charge in count 2, murder in the first degree? Yes. Do you understand the maximum penalty? Yes. Do you understand the charge in count 3, murder in the first degree? Yes. Do you understand the maximum penalty? Yes. Do you understand the charge in count 4, murder in the first degree? Yes. Do you understand the maximum penalty? Yes. Do you understand the charge in count 5, murder in the first degree? Do you understand the maximum penalty? Yes. And Ms. Taylor, is Mr. Koberger prepared to plead to these charges?
Your Honor, we will be standing silent.
All right, so I'm going to back that up because we're going to talk about it. It went through kind of quickly, but I know a lot of people have questions about this. But first, I want to talk about the fact that Bryan Kohberger said, yes, he understands the charges against him and the potential penalties he's looking at. Okay, so that's a really important part. And then I'm going to put this up on the screen. Ann Bothwell, greetings. Can I ask, standing silent, why automatically not guilty? I guess I've watched too many TV trials, but this is news to us. Okay, so with this question in mind, we're going to watch again what happens, how it happens, and then we're going to talk about standing silent.
To plead to these charges. And Ms. Taylor, is Mr. Koberger prepared to plead to these charges?
Your Honor, we will be standing silent.
And because Mr. Koberger is standing silent, I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on each charge. Counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
All right, so there you had it. This is what most people were talking about today. What does it mean to stand silent? Why stand silent? Why not just plead not guilty? To me, this was an intentional decision by Bryan Kohberger and his counsel. And while it could be a nothing burger, because basically standing silent, legally speaking, is the same thing as a not guilty plea. That's why you saw the judge enter a not guilty plea for all of the counts. And this goes into what we just heard, the judge explaining Bryan Kohberger's rights, including the right to remain silent. That's going to be at this hearing and every other hearing and every other time Bryan Kohberger, anything happens to him in this case. Of course, it sounds like my camera just died again. Really great. Really going to have to figure this out. But when we talk about standing silent, okay, and we talk about why somebody would stand silent. Number one, they do not want anything they say to be held against them. So what that means is, I hear people saying I froze. It was just my camera. Sorry. Eventually, maybe we'll be able to figure out the technical difficulties, but this is exactly what the issue was with JB earlier. It's so miserable. It literally makes steam come out of my ears and my blood boil, but we're going to bypass that for now and say, you heard him say anything can be held against him. So when we talk about saying not guilty, pleading not guilty, if he would have said, not guilty, I am not guilty, I did not do this, and pound the table, people would have an opinion about that. Number two, if he would have said not guilty softly or bashfully or nervously, people would say, well, why did he do that? Why was he too nervous? Why was he so bashful about it? Does that mean that he did it? And to me, there is something behind that. And that's why I do think it is a chance that this was on the advice of counsel. So instead, he stands in silence, which again, as I already mentioned, legally speaking, is in fact the same thing as pleading not guilty. And when we talk about pleading guilty or pleading not guilty, a lot of people change their plea later, right? A lot of people start out with a not guilty plea and eventually change it to a guilty plea. And that could happen in this case. But because they intentionally stood in silence instead of pleading, I don't think it's unfair to say why. Why did they do this? And I think the main answer might be they don't want people to take it and run with it. I think another reasonable explanation, I mean, people are saying BTK did it. He took that professor. We know there's at least some sort of potential connection there. Also, maybe he's working with the state as far as a potential guilty plea, and admitting what you did is part of it. Taking responsibility is a part of guilty pleas all the time. And maybe all of this is leading to one of the other questions we got here, which is, Aaron, when will we know if it's a death penalty case? Well, the arraignment starts the trigger, which is 60 days from the arraignment the state has to file their notice of intent to seek the death penalty. So they have 60 days. And if they do seek the death penalty, that could be a bargaining chip. Or maybe they won't seek the death penalty because they're already working on a plea deal. And that's why he is standing in silence as opposed to saying not guilty. Maybe the state said it would make the victims' families feel better if you don't stand there and say not guilty. I think there's a very small chance of that being the reason why, but it's a non-zero chance. I think the main reason why is he didn't want the media or anybody to run with the way, the fashion, the speed, or the power in which he said not guilty. That would be my guess if you just want my guess.
Now, at this juncture, the state has 60 days to give notice of intention to seek the death penalty. And Mr. Koberger has a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy trial. So let's start with you, Ms. Taylor, and then Mr. Thompson to discuss scheduling.
Your Honor, we'd ask the court to set this trial at the very outside of the speedy trial, right? We're not prepared to do anything but ask the court to do that today.
Okay.
All right. So I also heard some people asking, did she say that the judge is going to set this outside the speedy trial period? And the answer is no. She said near the outside of the speedy trial period, because as most of us can count by now, we know that that's 6 months that he has to have a speedy trial. And October puts us right at 5 months, a little less than 5 months, because I think they said October 2nd. So we're talking about 5 months away or less than 5 months away. If you set it there, it's still well within his speedy trial. She mentions the word speedy trial without waiving speedy trial, which I also think is important because that is a conscious decision to not waive speedy trial. And that is incredibly important because if the defendant waives speedy trial, you can't get that back. And if you waive speedy trial, that's how these cases sometimes end up happening 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And everything gets more difficult if you wait that long. So the fact that they did not waive the speedy trial, I think is important. And the fact that everybody kind of agreed to the date where they're at is also important because, and the state is about to agree to that because making it happen in October is still enough time that allows everybody to work on the case, prepare for the case, deal with discovery issues, and
Okay. So he gave a couple of different reasons, right, for standing silent. Okay. And he is talking from the aspect of a lawyer. Okay. So, he's probably, I mean, he's correct in thinking that if Brian banged and said, I'm not guilty, it'd make a lot of people very angry, right? I mean, make me angry. I'd be like, ugh, I'm still on the fence. I want to keep my mind open to, until the trial. But anybody that is convicted or, is in jail and standing trial, if banging on the thing and saying, I'm not guilty. I don't know. That just doesn't set a good tone, right? Or if they say, not guilty, Your Honor, you know, why do you say it like that? Is he? I mean, people, you know, and there has been so much speculation, right? So I can see what um, Peter is saying there. And then when you talk about, eh, you know, he could be waiting because, you know, even if he says not guilty, that could be used against him later, okay, in a court of law. Whatever he says. So even if he pleads not guilty, that could be used against him later. And so this could be a way for him not to have to say anything. Maybe, you know, it is advice of his counsel. Maybe he's working on a plea deal. I mean, we don't really know, right? But Peter gave examples of what could be going on behind the scenes. Is it speculation? I guess you could call it that, right? But it is legal speculation as far as what could be going on behind the scenes as a reason for him standing silent for his plea deal, for his plea. So I think that's interesting. I think if he's not working on a plea deal and they're just trying to get up everything that they need for trial, well then October it is, right? And as far as those other 2 hearings today, it looks like nothing was really decided, that motions will be set in June, 2 different dates in June on the court docket, I guess. So we'll see about what happens with those. But today was kind of we finally had something going on in the Bryan Kohberger trial, right? You know, it was kind of interesting to see him again in court, to hear him speak. Was it me, or did you guys get the feeling that Ann Taylor was like scared? She looked she sat real straight, you know, very straight, stood up, came back down right away when she said, Mr. Kohberger, stand silent. And, I mean, it was up and down so quickly, wasn't it? And every time that she said something, it was up and down, just like almost robotic or something. I don't know. It will be interesting to, you know, if this indeed does go to trial, it will be interesting to see what her demeanor is and how she carries herself other than that, because we can get a good look at that today, obviously. I was talking to you guys about my bottle. So that's my new water bottle. It's an awesome purple. And it has our logo on it. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like it. So we may give away one of those when we get to 100. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. I really do. You know, what trials are you interested? What cases are you interested in? What you know, what do you think? What do you think about giveaways? Do you want the water bottle? Do you want this? I've got several of them. Do you want this, or do you want Amazon cards? You know. So, and just to let you guys know that to pick a subscriber, I need your names in there. So, but yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep working at this. I struggle with the fact that I work all day. And today was a really, really hard day for me because I wanted to watch that live. I wanted to watch it so bad. I had to wait till my lunch hour, and then, I'm like, so I jump on and I let you guys know, but I know that there was so much more going on, and I really wanted to just go live and chat with you guys and talk about it. And I can't, so I can't wait until the day that I can retire and do this full time so that I can jump on and, talk to you guys whenever anything's going. But I hope you guys had a great day. I hope you have a good week. It's Monday. It's the start of the week. So I hope everything goes well for you guys this week. Please let me know in the comments what you think of Bryan Kohberger standing silent. What do you think he's going to do? Do you think, have you made a decision yet? Do you think he's guilty or not guilty? Have you made a decision? What are your thoughts? If we just look at the facts that we have now, right now, that was given in the affidavit, I don't know. I guess I'd like to say, I don't even know that it's like to say. I guess I don't know. Leaning toward guilty, but still keeping an open mind. That's the biggest thing, because we don't have all the facts yet, right? We don't have all the facts. And the facts are what we need to have, not rampant speculation, people coming up with things and throwing it out there in the wind and everybody catching it and hanging on to it. This case has had too much of that. So anyway, thank you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of my subscribers, which is not many, but we're going to get there. And I thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. And we will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granny'scrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much.